Today we're going to talk about installing a high flow air filter, changing my pipe, and also the inlet pipe for this MK7. Check out this new filter that I got from ECS, right? And here, so a box right here. This is the high flow filter from ECS. Oh, right here. And this is a dry filter. The reason why I got this is because it's going to be less maintenance for me rather than the oiled one. So I don't have to worry about oiling this thing. Just stick this in here. Once I remove the air box, then I could just stick this in here. So that's what this high flow, high performance air filter is all about. You know, just keeping the stock look right here. Aside from that, I'm also going to be installing this this pipe right here, which is going to be replacing this right here, this piece, right? And yeah, so this is going to be like the piping for the air box right here. And I'm also going to be replacing the inlet pipe, which is this part right here. Inlet pipe, right? The air filter, the pipe, and the inlet pipe, retaining the stock look for the MK7 but giving it a better airflow. That's the plan. Before we get started replacing the inlet pipe and the pipe itself, first things first, right here, remove the cover, right? Remove this air box right here. Well, not the air box, but just the cover, and remove the pipe so that I could remove that inlet, the inlet pipe, and then replace this pipe as well. So that's the plan. I gotta remove this this cover. So, I'm just using pliers to remove this right here. And I actually don't have to remove the whole box. It's just this pipe I need to remove. So I'm gonna keep the box in here for now, the cover. And this one I have to remove. So right here, there is a tight squeeze. You gotta remove that right there. And that's where we're going. So there you go. Now that the pipe is out, I'm gonna remove this inlet pipe connected to the turbo. And that's the screw right there. And I'm just gonna use this right here to remove this. I just gotta loosen it up. I don't have to remove it all the way. Pull this piece, try to turn it towards the firewall. So now that I loosened up the inlet pipe, I gotta remove the hose that's connected to it. See if I could do that. A little bit tricky, I think. Don't you love it when you watch these YouTube videos and they make it seem so easy to just pull things out? But this is actually a little tricky, so I'm gonna use these pliers to hold on to the plastic and remove the inlet pipe. So let's try to give it a go. Right here, just be careful, I don't want to break the plastic. I mean, it's almost out. I just gotta play with it a little bit more. See if I could actually remove it. I try to use all these different clamps to remove it, but really all I had to do was use a little bit of muscle and just yank it without trying to break the hose right there. So finally got it out. Took a little work though. So this is the stock one, and this is the RKX. You could tell though the difference between the two just by putting them next to each other. See how this one gets smaller and this one stays a little bit, well, bigger. So it should make a difference once I have this installed compared to the stock ones. I'm gonna start installing this right now. Just once you line it up, just start screwing it in. Once I have it in, I just turn it towards me, and then I just tighten this screw right here with this. All I have to do now is, I guess, plug this in, right? Like that. You can tell that everything is tight because even here, see how it clicks? So you can't really pull it out anymore. And here too, it doesn't move. So everything is solid and tight. And now I have to just put the hose, which is that right there. And we're good to go. So you gotta take this out and you gotta remove this. Okay, you don't really have to take off the hose, it's up to you. And basically, you yank this out. You just yank it up and it's gonna come out right here, right? So now I have to remove this this like snow grill, snow protection, because it kind of restricts more air for the air filter. And I've seen a few people do it and basically they just yank it out. They don't really show you exactly what they do. Hopefully I don't break it. I just want to make sure that I keep my box protected because I don't want to mess it up. So I'm just going to try to take this out right here, this piece, you know, which could be a little tricky in itself. But I just have to kind of see if I can take it out without messing it up. Not that I'm ever going to need this grill for the snow because we don't snow over here in Cali, right? So I'm not really worried about this. So we'll see if I can take it out. Hopefully I can without messing it up. Oh, yeah, I pretty much broke it, is what I did. And I'm not going to need this anymore, so it doesn't really matter. So I don't know why it's so hard to remove mine, but I'm sure there's a better way, but I just didn't figure it out. I pretty much broke it right here. So it's pretty much broken. I'm just trying to take it all out now. See? Right here. Not a very clean removal, so if you guys don't want to break your snow protection grill right here, then I don't know. Don't do it the way I did. Worst case is I could still super glue this, man. Right? I mean, it's not completely messed up. So now I'm gonna be able to put it back on, like in here, right? I'm just gonna put it back on like that, like this. To reinstall this is fairly easy, right? And actually I didn't even have to remove it but I just felt like it was easier for me to remove the snow guard because now I could just use force, but you don't really have to remove it. I just did, so it's up to you. And this is fairly easy to install, so basically is you just kind of line it up. These will line up to these, whatever you call it right here, these 3 points, right? And you just push it in like this. Just make sure that it goes underneath this right here, this scoop. So it goes like that, boom, right? Let's see. Okay. Line it up. Interesting. Yeah, so it goes underneath this piece and then just kind of line it up. And once you're here, you just push it back down. Wow. And it'll start lining up. See, these right here. Boom. So here's the ECS high flow filter. This is dry because I want less maintenance. You guys can get oiled if you want, but you have to maintain it more, which is going to replace this one. See the difference? Boom, right? This is thicker, this is not as thick. but this is more high performance, giving it still the stock look. As you can see, this is my high flow performance air filter that I'm gonna put. I already took out the old one, which is right there. Put this new one in, and now I'm ready to close this stock air box. Maintain that stock look, you know. And then I'm just going to install the hose. Okay, I finally replaced the air filter with a high flow. Replaced the stock one right here, and I also removed the snow guard, as you can see, because these are very restrictive, you know, as far as the airflow for the air box, right? Now that I got that inlet pipe installed, now I can put this hose, also RKX, you know, boom, and right here. A step up from this, right? The stock one versus this, you can see the difference, right? This one is bigger, smooth. This one has the ridges on it, so we'll replace this with this. So I removed this box just so that I could adjust it a little more, and then I was able to make this hose fit. Now I just gotta tighten everything up. Okay, I just installed this tube right here, but I feel like I'm gonna remove it because, like I said, there is a crimp down here. It's hard to see, but there's a crimp because the hose is just too long, and I just don't like that there's a crimp there. It doesn't seem to me like it's gonna flow smoothly the way it should. Right there, I don't know if you can see the crimp. It's very hard to see. So either way, I am going to remove it. Because the hose is too long, I had to cut it with a sawzall right here, and maybe it would fit better. But I wasn't using the right blade because it wasn't an easy cut. Just be mindful of that when you're doing this. Either you just use a blade instead of a sawzall because it might get a little bit messy. You could see it's far from perfect, my cuts, but it's shorter now. We'll see how it fits. See if it's gonna fit any better in here. As I said, I just cut this this hose, but I didn't do it perfect. As you see, I kind of messed up here because I wasn't sure what to use as far as cutting. I tried to use like one of these right here, my multi-tool, or this piece right here, you know. So yeah, I didn't seem to cut it perfect, so I kind of messed up with it. But I needed to cut a little bit because it was too long, and like I said, it was crimping here right on this side, and I didn't want it to crimp right there. So I'm gonna try to see how this fits, but I think I messed up. I should have cut on this side because it's hiding. Instead I ended up cutting here, and visually it doesn't look good, right? So we'll see how it fits. Okay. Make sure you buy a aftermarket hose that's well known, or at least has good quality. See how the hose is not perfect where it goes. It's here, it's kind of crimping, it's like kind of bent a little, so it's not perfect. See, I redid the pipe again. I had to cut again the second time. That's why I could tell it's not perfect right here, my cuts, so whatever. But I'm more concerned about the way it flows, so I want to make sure I get rid of the crimp or the bend here on the pipe. So what I did is I moved this pipe a little bit more towards the left, and it seems to get rid of most of the bend. So right here it's smoother, as you could see, so it will have a better flow for the air to go to the inlet pipe, right? So that's why I had to redo it, but I did have to cut twice. As you could tell, my cuts are not perfect, but that's gonna have to do because I'm more concerned about the flow of the tube not having a bend or a crimp down here. So that's how I did it. I'm just gonna put these screws back on the air box and we're good to go. I mean, hopefully this pinch is not gonna be a big deal for this hose, and I don't have to take this all back out again. life of a DIYer, right? Okay, so I finally got everything installed right here. The high flow air filter, the hose, and the inlet pipe down there. All these three pieces. So right there, right? That's the old stuff. It feels like it gives more air, you know, because of the bigger inlet pipe and stuff like that. But it definitely feels like it's less restrictive, and obviously it could all be in my head too, but I feel like it is. And the stage one probably has something to do with helping with, you know, giving that less restriction too, just because it pushes harder, probably a little bit better, you know, on the boost. But yeah, I think it helps a little. I mean, because it's less restrictive, right, with the bigger inlet pipe. And I'm not really trying to do what I used to before, where I, you know, change up the whole air box and have that look or sound or whatever. I just kind of want to give this car just that stock look. So that's all I did, was replace the air filter and the inlet pipe, and we'll see if I'll be okay with that. So hopefully that helps you guys in terms of how it feels about those two mods. The only thing missing now is the air duct to cover this up so that I'll have more airflow going in. That's the next one right there.